So this may be one of the biggest no-brainer statements of all time, but having LeBron James back absolutely changes everything for the Los Angeles Lakers. We're showing you some highlights from what can best be described as a LeBron James pre-game propaganda video. If you notice, he didn't actually miss any threes. On today's NBA Rundown, we are going to get into what does this actually all mean for the Los Angeles Lakers having LeBron James back on the team, and quite frankly, how do I think and how do you think this is actually all going to play out? The Lakers last night ended up winning 140 to 125 against the Utah Jazz, who have the worst defense in the NBA. Welcome back to the NBA Rundown. As always, I'm Dave Dabbah. I bring you daily NBA news and, of course, commentary. New to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe and, of course, like this video. We are some 2,500 plus subscribers in, looking to go all the way to 5,000 this season. All right, so watching LeBron James last night, I think actually gave us some good insight into how JJ Redick is actually going to use LeBron James this year with the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, you have to remember, every team that LeBron James has actually been on throughout his 23-year NBA career, he was the best player on the team. But this is Skinny Luka's team, and LeBron James, who is extraordinarily calculating, absolutely knows that. I mean, how else can you explain the fact that he came back for a game on a Tuesday night against Utah, knowing that he'd have a bunch of rest until the next game, which of course is also against Utah, and that's not actually going to happen until Sunday. So we're going to dive into this. I want to know what your thoughts and opinions are on LeBron James coming back. If you noticed last night, he was not the primary offensive weapon that, of course, a lot of the Laker fans are certainly used to seeing with LeBron James. I think it's clear as water being wet that if it's Luka's team, then it's Austin Reeves' team, and then it's LeBron's team, at least during the regular season. Something might change when we actually get to the playoffs. But for now, I think this is how it's probably going to be most nights. Not every night. I'm sure LeBron will end up leading the team from a scoring perspective in many games during the regular season. But the point is that they want Luka Doncic to have the ball somewhere between 40 and 50%. Then they want Austin Reeves to have the ball around 25%. In the game last night, LeBron James actually had the ball for about 13%. Now, I don't think it's going to remain that low, but that's actually a good thing, especially when you're playing against a bad team like the Utah Jazz. LeBron ended up with a double-double, as you all know, and along the way ended up passing Reggie Miller for 6 on the all-time three-point leaderboard. LeBron certainly makes a huge difference for this basketball team going forward. And I know he's not the same LeBron James he was 2 years ago. I know he's not the same LeBron James he was 5 years ago. He's certainly not the same guy he was 10 years ago. But the thing about LeBron that makes LeBron LeBron is just how calculating he is as a basketball player. In other words, once again, he picks his spots. He waited to actually come back to actually play in a game against the Utah Jazz, knowing that he was actually going to have 5 days off in between games, which, by the way, is, of course, with the Utah Jazz again. So when we look at the stats from the game for LeBron, he had his double-double, as I mentioned. He had 11 points, 3 rebounds, and more importantly than the points were the 12 assists in the game. He absolutely looked like he was in midseason form, at least from an assist perspective. Now, LeBron historically throughout his career has been great at actually distributing the ball to other players. Just imagine how good he's actually going to be when he has a diminished scoring role with the Lakers this year. In other words, you can expect LeBron James to be a key distributor in addition to what, of course, Luka Doncic can do. So taking a look at the Lakers' overall performance last night in the game is pretty astounding. I mean, especially when you start looking at the plus minuses. Rory had a plus 14 in the game, and he only scored 6 points. DeAndre Ayton, who has actually played better than I thought he was going to play for the Lakers, has definitely stepped up. He had 14 rebounds and 20 points in the game. Austin Reeves, 26 points, and of course, skinny Luka came in with 37 points. Everybody was in the positive from a plus-minus perspective. Look, this Laker team with LeBron James being as calculating as he is certainly going to be a team that the rest of the NBA is actually going to have to worry about, especially if everybody on this roster can absolutely stay healthy. Now, on a personal note, I know that Jackson Hayes played pretty good last night, and I actually agree DeAndre Ayton did as well. I still think that the Los Angeles Lakers are a big man or two away from truly being a competitor to actually come out of the Western Conference. I'm also going to be very curious to see what changes down the road this season when the Lakers end up playing a team that is significantly better than the Utah Jazz. In other words, how's this all actually going to look when the Lakers go up against OKC with LeBron back? How's it going to look when they actually go up against Denver with LeBron back? What about the Minnesota Timberwolves, who a lot of you have completely just brushed aside at this point, despite the fact that the T-Wolves have actually been to 2 Western Conference Finals in a row? Look, we have a long way to go in the season for sure. And yes, this is LeBron James's 23rd season in the NBA. Of course, nobody has ever done that before in the history of the game. And I certainly want to give LeBron a lot of credit for coming back for his 23rd season. I also really liked what I saw last night from a ball distribution perspective. In other words, this is Skinny Luka's team. All right. Lakers, once again, 11-4 now. Love to get your thoughts and opinions. Please go ahead and drop them in. As always, for the NBA Rundown, I'm Dave Dabbah, wishing you all a tremendous rest of your sports viewing day.